Legacy of Ashes. I had you first off bring this book today because I was hoping to give you time to do your reading assignment at the end of class. I don't think we're going to get there, so I apologize first off for making you lug this around for no reason today, probably. But we'll see at the end. There is an assignment, a quiz. I used to give these out after they read the chapters, after the students had read the chapters. I found it was more successful and was better served as a study guide. So you take it home, and this is what I'm going to do for every couple of chapters. Sometimes I group them in 3, but just have you take it home, fill the quiz, I still call it a quiz, out, and we'll talk about it the next day. And you'll turn it in, and I'll give you 10 points, and that's how this is going to work. So it works a little better, a little more successful that way than the other. So Legacy of Ashes. We start off with the Office of Strategic Services. We did not have any sort of intelligence apparatus worthy of being called an intelligence apparatus. We found out we needed one pretty badly after the successful attack on Pearl Harbor. There was military intelligence, there were those types of forces, but none of them communicated with each other. So we have the Office of Strategic Services. Yeah, the Army, the Navy, they failed to read Japanese codes before the attack. That was one of the reasons Pearl Harbor was so successful. And the OSS really became the first centralized intelligence agency of any note in American history. Now, there were a lot of problems with the OSS, as you'll see later on in this talk and in the book, which I'm assigning chapters 1 and 2 for Thursday. Don't walk out of here without letting me give you the quiz, all right? Their job, according to historian Thomas Troy, they collect information, conduct research and analysis, coordinate information, print and broadcast propaganda, mount special operations, inspire guerrilla action, and send commandos into battle. And how did this all end up working? It was a big flop. It was a big flop. They ended up getting a lot more guys killed than came back. And that's why it only really lasted for 3 years, just a touch over 3 years, really, 1942 to 1945. The head of the organization was Bill Donovan. His nickname was Wild Bill. He had such bright ideas like, hey, I know how we can get the Japanese. Let's fill up a bunch of cargo planes with bats, with bombs strapped onto their, I don't know if bats have backs or not, but the back side of the bat, and dump them over Tokyo. Let's just watch them explode. It's in the book here. You'll read about it. But yeah, Wild Bill himself. So FDR brought him in into the executive branch as the coordinator of information, and said that he was to collect and analyze all information which may bear upon the national security. So that is a very broad mandate, extraordinarily broad, and he took advantage of that. Roosevelt turned his office the Office of the Coordinator into the Office of Strategic Services in June of 1942. And Donovan, again, let's strap bombs to the back of bats. He had a big imagination, a pretty wild imagination. The OSS quickly grew. The growth was chaotic. I think chaotic, I'll let you read the book and decide for yourself, but I think chaotic was a bit of an understatement. But the OSS overall supported the war effort. I mean, this is a judgment call on my end, so don't take this as gospel, but I believe they helped more than they hurt. That's, again, just a judgment call that I'm making. You can decide for yourself when you read the book. So there wouldn't have been much of a chance that there would have been anything like the Office of Strategic Services in the U.S. during that time without Donovan's unique brand and style of leadership. I'll give you a second more. This will be important information a little later on. Because I can tell you right now that part of your final exam is over this book. The rank and file. So they employed almost 13,000 people in late 1944. 2/3 of them did come from the military, very highly qualified volunteers that went on very risky missions, very, very risky missions. Rest of the workforce was civilian. There were very prominent academics among the ranks. And some of these guys were out and out socialists and communists, which we might not think too much of now, but at the time that was a big, hairy deal. As this says, at least 5 of them were later unmasked as clandestine Soviet agents that reported to Moscow. So there were spies in the OSS. We did not know how to do intelligence at this time. The British did teach us a lot about that because they had MI5 and MI6 forever. They've had hundreds of years practice in intelligence gathering. We, at this point in our time and in our time frame, were in our infancy. And they served in Washington, New York, or they went overseas. I had a girl, I taught this class, the last time I taught this class was at Lincoln College in my town of Lincoln, where I live. And I had a girl get so mad at the essay, at the final, again, over the book, that I should have reported her, but I didn't because I found it funny, to be quite honest. Every other word in this essay was F Bill Donovan, F the CIA. I should have reported it. I didn't. But she got so frustrated at what was being read in this, at what was printed in this book. And this book's been around forever. I read this in my international relations class in college. This is what made me think of it to give to you guys. So. And the guy who gave it to me, his name was Ryan Hendrickson, man, that guy was, and is still, I have so much respect for his knowledge and his capability as a foreign affairs expert. He knows what he's talking about. He still, I think, works at U of I in Champaign. If any of you are going there and you can take a class with him, do it. You won't regret it. I think he still teaches there. So he got promoted to a dean at Eastern Illinois, which was my alma mater. So, Wild Bill, and I'm going to turn off the video because of copyright reasons. I'm sure you understand.